What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new episode of The 8 Below Show. Welcome everyone to 8 Below. Thanks for being here, guys, to the best gaming related show here on YouTube. And I'm super excited about our episode here today. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. We have an exciting show for you guys here today, but before we get into everything, I want to, of course, introduce once again the lovely Mrs. Zero. What's happening today?
Nothing.
Nothing at all. Well, in our first segment, guys, we're going to talk about a big announcement. So we got a massive announcement here on the show, which I'm super excited about. Something that's going to be happening here in the future that you guys are going to be seeing live now is that Alyssa and I are doing a collaboration where we are going to be putting my merchandise that you guys can get at this point in time on to Poshmark. So Poshmark is a buy and sell type of website, guys. Alyssa is very active on Poshmark, Vinted, as well as Mercari, which if you guys watched our last show together, you would know that she's really into thrifting and things of that nature. Well, what's awesome, guys, is that I've been working behind the scenes on trying to get my own merchandise kind of off the ground. And so the very first drop is going to be here, which you guys can take. Obviously, it's very exclusive, very limited on Poshmark, which is Alyssa's page, which I'm sure she'll be able to tell you a little bit more about Poshmark and such. But we figured, why not have a collaboration between the two of us? Because obviously I've been wanting to do merch for quite some time, and Alyssa does this, you know, day in and day out. And so it was a perfect marriage, so to speak. And so I'm super excited about it. Alyssa, what do you think about the collaboration? And your thoughts on Poshmark?
I think Poshmark is, it's the best app to sell on, or the best platform to sell on. There's a few things I would change about it if I could, but it's probably my most successful app or platform that I sell on. It's actually kind of a community of people. People are very positive, and they always leave comments saying, you know, I love your closet. That's what they call them on Poshmark, your closet, essentially. And they always say just how, you know, just they love my stuff. And I also have pictures of my family on there, because there's a section where it says meet your posher. I have pictures of me and him and our family, and I'll get major compliments about that. I've never had anybody negative on Poshmark. So essentially it's like a community. There's tons of people, you know, trying to sell, and I've seen some really unique things. So having his merch on my Poshmark, it's just unique. You can't get it anywhere else. So we're going to try it out and see how it goes. And if there's like more of a demand, then we'll add more. And if there's not, then we tried, and, you know. But Poshmark's a place where you can find really unique things. I think it's I would change a few things about it if I could. Let's just say that. But it's been pretty successful for me, so.
Yeah, and Alyssa's amassed a really nice following. How many followers do you have now?
180K.
So 180,000 followers she has on Poshmark. So it just kind of made total sense. And guys, as time goes with anything, as you guys know, the YouTube channel, how I started the YouTube channel and what it is to this day has changed drastically. And so the same thing with my merch, guys. We'll probably, over time, you have our first drop that's going to be, you know, here now, but then over time, the apparel will probably change. We're going to have continuous exclusive content, which I'm really, really excited about. This has been something that I'm very much so into fashion and into that industry. And so it's been something I've wanted to have my own merchandise. and that I could put kind of like a stamp on. And so really excited, guys, to be bringing out this merch for all of you. I can't wait for some of you to cop some, and it will be, I think, something really awesome. So I would love to hear you guys' thoughts about it. That's the big announcement that we have at this point. We have a lot more coming, a lot of stuff that we're excited about behind the scenes that's being worked on. Cannot wait to share what we've got cooking for you guys. But yes, if you guys have already got and copped some of that merchandise, definitely post some of those images on social media. Would love to see some of you guys, copping some of it and hear your guys' thoughts. But with that being said, guys, that is the big announcement. Go check out Alyssa's Poshmark. It is in the description down below. And for more content like this, guys, and more huge announcements, stay here with Zero TV. So The Last of Us Part 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, guys. It is my favorite game ever on the PlayStation, and I have absolutely loved this, at least the story, the narrative, and where it's going at this point. I'm really excited to see the future of The Last of Us. That being said, The Last of Us Part 2 released uncompleted. It was obviously a full narrative, a full story that we got, but the other, additions and, continuations of what we were hoping to see did not get, were not there at launch. That includes the multiplayer did not release when The Last of Us Part 2 came out. And I've been very vocal and upset that it was something that needed to be added or should have been something that came with the full game, because now, let's just say when the multiplayer comes out, a lot of people who played The Last of Us Part 2 have moved on to other games, whereas if it would have released with the multiplayer, then people would have stayed playing the game most likely, especially if it was a really exciting and good experience. After you beat the single-player story, you may want to beat it once or a couple of times, but then you're going to want other things to do within The Last of Us, and you're not able to do that because the multiplayer is still has not released at this point in time. So with that, guys, I want to give you guys an update as to where we stand at this point with The Last of Us Part 2 multiplayer. So let's get into it. So an article written by Patrick Young of Game Rant, although Naughty Dog has confirmed the existence of The Last of Us 2's multiplayer, it seemed like it keeps getting farther and farther away. So The Last of Us Part 2's lack of a multiplayer mode was a disappointment to many fans. While Naughty Dog has confirmed that it is in development, it is difficult to make any predictions about when it is coming. An unforeseen surprise to the original The Last of Us was its factions multiplayer mode, as players started by either joining the Fireflies or the Hunters before going on to compete in brutal death matches, with the winners receiving supplies for their faction. So Factions, guys, was a pretty awesome game mode in The Last of Us Part 1, and obviously a lot of people wanted to see a continuation of that here with The Last of Us Part 2. For me personally, I really wanted to see multiple modes, not just factions, team deathmatch. I want to see a lot of different game modes. That even brings me to like the co-op modes. I want to see co-op modes where you're able to play with your friends against waves and waves of enemies, kind of like Gears of War's Horde mode. I've always said that would be really awesome, having like waves of clickers you're going up against, and then waves of other, different characters and things of that nature from the Last of Us franchise. Game developers and publishers have the right to announce their projects when they see fit. That is indisputable. At the same time, fans have the right to express what they want to see from certain developers. When those two expectations are aligned, the gaming community is usually overjoyed, as the developer can finally show off what it is working on, and fans can share their excitement with the other fans and the developer itself, which is totally true, guys. When it comes to the ambiguous multiplayer of The Last of Us 2, though, it is not the case. As of now, Factions is nothing but words on paper explaining fan frustration. While it is considerate of Naughty Dog to tease its community with the knowledge that it is indeed making The Last of Us 2 multiplayer, this has had the unintended effect of making the game seem less tangible. Before the announcement from this year's The Last of Us Day, the last hint of the game was from 2020 Celebration, creating a full year of silence surrounding The Last of Us 2's multiplayer. The disproportionate hinting by Naughty Dog has resulted in zero understanding of the project and how different it is from the original game's online experience. So we'll kind of pause here. Alyssa, you hear this. Obviously, you're not really big into the multiplayer experiences. You like to play the single player experiences and kind of go at it at your own pace. Now, The Last of Us, when it comes to a title like this, what are your thoughts on should The Last of Us 2, should they have waited to release it for when it was fully completed, like with multiplayer and all of that, or do you think it's fine the way it is?
Well, I don't know. I haven't played it yet.
Well, yeah, you haven't played it yet, but do you think just games in general, though, do you think that they should release as a full package where you're getting everything, or do you think that they should?
I think it should release as a full package, just because I don't like the multiplayer. That doesn't mean other people don't. So they should be able to have the option to play it if they want.
Yeah.
Like, I would be fine. Me personally, I'd be fine if the game just came out just as like the campaign, but other people don't care. Like, other people want more than that. So I think it should come out completed.
Yeah, and I think The Last of Us is, it's such a huge game for Naughty Dog. I mean, Uncharted was big. Last of Us is even bigger. And I think that it really would have helped to have that full package already solidified. I start getting, I start reminding myself of other titles that this is kind of similar to, like Cyberpunk 2077 was a title that releases. It has all these bugs, all these glitches, all these issues, but underneath all of that is a really awesome game. But even if you get through the game, let's say all those bugs and glitches are fixed, the one thing that a lot of people were also wanting to play is the multiplayer for Cyberpunk 2077, and it's nowhere to be found at this point in time. And obviously CD Projekt Red had so much pressure from the shareholders to get this game put out, and it comes out too early, and then obviously you have a lot of people, a lot of buzz and excitement around Cyberpunk 2077, and then a lot of disappointed fans. People move on to other games, and then by the time the multiplayer comes out, people have already forgotten that it was even something that was coming out. And so the same thing here with The Last of Us Part 2. Sure, guys, I was very excited for The Last of Us Part 2 to come out, and I was like, man, I can't wait to get my hands on it, but I would have preferred them wait until it's fully done. From a cooperative perspective, from a multiplayer perspective, and from a story perspective, I wanted it all to be completed before it released. It justifies the $60 price tag when it's a full package like that. If you're buying a game and it's not completed, people feel like they were slighted somewhat, and so that's where the frustration is coming from, because I'm a fan of The Last of Us and The Last of Us Part 2, and I feel like, we put all of, you pay $60, and sure, I mainly got it for the narrative, not for the multiplayer, but I can totally understand why so many people are upset about it. Despite the assurances, it is hard to get behind a game that does not yet feel real. Naughty Dog's likely harmless intent of disclosing information piecemeal has given space for ambiguity and speculation rather than definition and assertion. Fans should not fault Naughty Dog, but rather better align their expectations for a project lacking a formal announcement. I disagree 100% with that. I feel that we should fault Naughty Dog for releasing a game that wasn't completed. That you have to fault them. Sure, Naughty Dog has, the board. They've got, of course, shareholders behind the scenes, that there's this ongoing pressure to release the game because there's excitement, there's buzz around the game, and they just obviously, we're still so young, guys, even though the video game industry's been around for a long time now, it's still young in certain elements, like esports. We're still in the beginning stages of this thing. We don't even know what it's going to fully look like in another decade, 2 decades. And so we're still not there yet. And so I feel like Naughty Dog needed to have more of a, even though the ongoing pressure there, they needed to have the guts to say, look, the game is not completed yet, and should have just waited at that point or another. The future of Naughty Dog looks defined by The Last of Us. So one way or another, new content will come. It is just a matter of when. Based on the lack of info, though, the wait for factions could be a long one. So apparently, guys, it's still in development at this point in time. The question lies is this ever going to come out? And I actually have my doubts. Really, guys. I have my doubts that the multiplayer will ever come out. I feel that they may very well just decide, that being Naughty Dog, like, hey, it's been a number of years since The Last of Us Part 2 came out. We've been working on this multiplayer. Let's just wait to release this multiplayer with The Last of Us Part 3. It just doesn't, to me, it's not lining up, because I just feel that they're going to release the multiplayer let's say if they make the multiplayer free to play, that's one thing, right? The multiplayer, if it's free to play, people can just download it, they can try it out, and they can create, some momentum around that. But part of me feels like they're just going to wait till the third game. What do you think, Alyssa? Do you think they'll wait till The Last of Us Part 3, or do you think that they will release it whenever it's done?
But how would they release it if you already bought the game? Would you have to rebuy the game?
No, you wouldn't rebuy the game. It would just be probably an update. It would come in the form of an update, and you update it, and the multiplayer's there.
I don't know. At this point, I feel like they might as well wait until they bring out the third game, because it's already been out for over a year and a half.
Yeah, it's tough. It's like, I just feel like you've split the fan base now, because like I said, like me myself, I love The Last of Us Part 2, but and I very well may come back to play the multiplayer if it comes out for The Last of Us Part 2. But I've already moved on to other games, guys. I don't play The Last of Us Part 2 anymore. I played the story. I absolutely loved it. I thought
at this point it's a moot point.
Yeah, it's a fantastic story. It's incredible. But I just think now I've moved on to other things. So if you bring out The Last of Us Part 3 and you say, hey, here's a free multiplayer with The Last of Us Part 3 in the form of factions and other, different types of game modes, then I'm fully on board, because then after I'm done playing the campaign, after I'm done with that, I can move right into the multiplayer experience and play that, or play with my friends in co-op.
That would be like Call of Duty Vanguard coming out, and they say, oh, we're going to just wait till the next Call of Duty to release the multiplayer for Vanguard. Like, that would just be pointless.
It would be. Well, it definitely would be. Call of Duty is built specifically around multiplayer.
No, but I was just using it as an example. Like, no one's going to wait for the multiplayer to come out. They're just going to go onto it every game.
Exactly. Yeah, for a lot of games. And the same thing happened with Cyberpunk 2077. Sure, guys, there are people who are massive fans of The Last of Us and like games like Cyberpunk 2077, and they're more than willing to wait. But I'm saying the masses, the main, like all of the people that really the buzz was built around, have moved on to other games. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about this in the comment section down below. Should The Last of Us Part 2, or should I say Naughty Dog, should they just wait until The Last of Us Part 3 to release the multiplayer, or should they just release the multiplayer whenever it's done? Let us know in the comment section down below, and for more The Last of Us content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. So the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 are available in a limited capacity, guys, and I want to talk about this in more broad terms here, okay? I've been wanting to get an Xbox Series X for quite some time. We want to get the PlayStation 5 as well, but we're not willing to pay astronomical prices from those who were able and fortunate enough to get a copy, or were able to get one of the new gen consoles, and they're just selling them, on sites like Amazon, Walmart, and things of that nature for crazy prices. And so I want to talk about this being like, just what this means, guys, for the next generation of console gaming. Obviously, many people have moved to PC. They love the PC gaming side of things, but some of us absolutely love just console gaming. I've grown up with console gaming, grown up with an Xbox. The original Xbox was the first console I got. And, obviously we've gotten all three of the consoles at this point: PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch. But we want to upgrade, of course, because it's been a number of years. We want to upgrade to the Xbox Series X, the PlayStation 5, and we really can't. If you want to just buy it in stores at, the $4.99 price tag or $5.99 price tag, depending on what you're getting, you just really can't do it. And it's a really unfortunate thing, guys, that especially we saw that GameStop was releasing, a limited number of Xboxes and PlayStations on Thanksgiving. And this just really brings up like a massive issue that I have with all of this that's going on. We understand that there's a chip shortage, as well as many other shortages across the country when it comes to a number of issues, guys. We could talk about the chip shortages. We could talk about, the price of lumber. We could talk about all kinds of different things. But what does this mean in particular for the gaming community at large? Okay, so here's my biggest issue with it. It's not even so much that, okay, we understand that there's a chip shortage. That's not the fault of Microsoft. It's not the fault of Sony. Really what this is, guys, though, is a problem for the gaming industry at large, when a lot of these games are starting to move in a direction where it's going to be exclusive to the next gen consoles. This is where it becomes an issue for me, because a lot of us who want to get the next gen console, we haven't been given an opportunity to get it because they're sold out so quickly or whatever the case may be. So where does this leave us? Well, we have Call of Duty. Okay, let's just say, for example, Call of Duty. So Call of Duty is one of my favorite games of all time. We have Call of Duty Vanguard out right now. It's available on the Xbox One, Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. But what happens with Call of Duty 2022? Is the next Call of Duty going to move in the direction of 100% Xbox Series X, S, and PS5? Or is it still going to be available on Xbox One? Because there comes a time, guys, where it's going to change. So I'll give you an example. So if we go back to when the Xbox 360 was out, and we go to the Xbox One, okay? We get the Xbox One. Sure, Call of Duty Ghosts back then was the game that came out. And Call of Duty Ghosts was a title that was available on Xbox One as well as on Xbox 360. And what this created, though, was it almost split the community up because there was no crossplay at this point in time. And so, obviously, it became a problem for many people because it split the community. And then it didn't take much longer. You had Call of Duty Ghosts. Then you had, just a number of other Call of Duty titles. We have one every single year. And at some point or another, they say, look, we're no longer going to release this on the Xbox 360. You got to get the Xbox One in order to play the most current game. So what does this mean? Well, there's a good chance, guys, I believe, that Microsoft and Sony, they know this. They know that not everybody has a console that wants one. So there's a good chance that the games that come out in the future are going to still be on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. But where does this really turn into a problem is from a graphical perspective. From the perspective of, just the bugs, the glitches and stuff on the old gen consoles. I've been playing Call of Duty Vanguard on the Xbox One, and I notice a lot of frame rate issues. The graphics, things are still loading as you go. The campaign is awesome, but a lot of times there's just bugs, there's glitches, and because you just know that this game isn't meant for the Xbox One. It's meant for the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S, and of course the PS5. And so that's where it really becomes an issue as we go. So the question is what is what's going to be the solution here? So I feel what needs to happen, and this is just more so, fingers crossed, being hopeful that the Xbox Series S, X, as well as the PS5 become more readily available to everyone, to the masses. Anyone who wants it should be able to get it. Now, the chip shortage is still a significant issue. The question is that going to get any better as we go? Alyssa, you see everything that's going on. Obviously, the problems that we're having with trying to get a new console. We don't want to pay crazy prices for it. Where do you think this is going? Do you think that they're going to be able to just at some point or another, say maybe in early stages of 2022, they're going to have more Xboxes and PlayStations than ever before? Or do you think the chip shortage is still going to be an issue?
Well, seeing as the New Year's only a month away, I don't see it changing in a month. I think it's really sad that it's like this because anybody that wants a console or can afford a console should be able to get one. I don't like that people are buying them for $400 and selling them for $1,000. I think that's outrageous. I understand like the reason behind it, supply and demand, but I just think that's astronomical. That's just ridiculous. And I, as much as we want one, I would not pay that just for the simple fact of, I just think that's wrong to upsell it that much. That's like, you can upsell it maybe $100, $200, but to upsell it into the thousands, that's crazy to me. And I don't like that. I don't think they should switch the games over to Xbox X until everyone who wants one is able to get one. I think that's wrong. I think, there are diehard Call of Duty fans. There are diehard fans of certain games. And if they can't play it just because they don't have a console that they can't get, I don't think that's fair. I think maybe they need to, if you're having issues with the graphics, make the graphics compatible for the Xbox One and the Xbox X. So then whoever's playing on the Xbox One gets the experience, but they just haven't had a chance to get their hands on a new console. And that's not our fault. And it's not the developer's fault. It's just what the world is right now. But I hope that we can get our hands on one soon. I check online every day just to see, because people at certain stores have told me you got to get on at the right second. Like, they are there. It's just once they're on, they sell out in minutes. So it's like you kind of have to be online at the right time. Now, as far for you, your Xbox works. So it's just a matter of waiting until you can get your hands on the new one. Mm-hmm. As for the PlayStation, well, our PS4 kind of crapped out. So
it did. Yeah.
We kind of need to get our hands on that PS5. I've always been a PlayStation person. He's always been an Xbox person. So we have to have both. And it's nice we can play both games that come out on each system.
Because more and more exclusivity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also have the Switch because of the exclusivity with the Nintendo games, the Mario, whatever. And I don't think there's a new Switch console. Is there?
No, they have like different, I think, like bundles and stuff that you can get for it.
But so we're good in the Switch aspect. But yeah, I definitely want to get our hands on, well, especially for you, the Xbox. But I just think it's crazy right now how you can't get your hands on one, and I'm not going to pay over market value for one. I mean, 2 times over market value. I mean, that's just crazy. We don't need it that bad.
Well, and even crazier though is that people are paying for it. They're actually paying those prices.
That's why people are doing it.
Yeah,
like someone's buying it for $500 and selling it for $1,000. And making a $500 profit. I mean, that's just crazy. But people are doing it because their kids want it so bad for Christmas, or or their husbands want it, or their girlfriends want one, or whatever. It's crazy, and it's not gonna stop until people stop paying it. Like, it's just crazy to me that people would pay that for a console.
Or what will happen is when more and more Xboxes and PlayStations become available,
price is gonna go up.
Then, well, no, I'm saying that when more and more consoles come out, the price that people are, upselling it for is going to go down. So, like, instead of it being $1,000, it's going to go down to $600.
Well, I feel like once there's more available, no one's going to upsell it because everyone can get one.
Yeah.
Like, the more of the upselling isn't going to happen.
Yeah, and look, like I said, guys, I want to have this as like an open conversation where we can talk about it. Where do we think this is going? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below where you think this whole thing is going with the consoles and the issues around the chip shortages and things of that nature. I'd love to hear from all of you guys. Let us know. And for more content like this, guys, stay here with Zero TV. Super Mario Odyssey is, without question, guys, one of the best games I've ever played on the Nintendo Switch. And I want to we've talked about Super Mario Odyssey on the YouTube channel. You guys can check out all of that content that I've already posted. But I want to talk about Super Mario Odyssey 2 and kind of where we stand at this point in time. Where are we at with this title? When is it coming out? I know there's a lot of you out there that absolutely loved Super Mario Odyssey. I mean, it was acclaimed by critics and fans alike. And so we're going to talk about the sequel, guys, the much anticipated sequel that is coming at some point or another. So let's get into it. So, guys, this is coming to us from Game Central, Metro, the folks over there. Super Mario Odyssey sequel will expand the series in new ways, says Nintendo. Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 may have been critically acclaimed as 2 of the best video games ever made, but they were by no means the most successful titles on the Wii. Super Mario Galaxy was only the 9th biggest seller with sales of around 13 million, and Super Mario Galaxy 2 only managed around 7 million. Well, the new Super Mario Bros. Sub-series has never been popular with fans, though, who criticize it for lacking innovation, and so Nintendo took a chance by focusing all efforts on Super Mario Odyssey for the Switch. Efforts that have paid off so well, they've changed Nintendo's view on 3D Mario titles. So it felt like each time we created a new installment in the Super Mario series, which by then had expanded into 3D, it became more complicated. After the release of Super Mario Galaxy in 2007, the goal was to develop a more accessible 3D Super Mario game, and the result was New Super Mario Bros. Wii, a basic side-scrolling Super Mario game that even new players could easily play. So recently, people of all generations have been enjoying the 3D Mario game, Super Mario Odyssey. So for 3D Mario going forward, we want to try expanding further in new ways. So, as you can see, he didn't go into any detail, but it is the first time that Nintendo has confirmed a new 3D Mario game, whether a direct sequel to Odyssey or something else is in development. So to me, guys, okay, before we go any further, Super Mario Odyssey was incredible. I mean, from a multitude of different perspectives, but let's just talk about from a pure business perspective. Number one, Super Mario Odyssey was so huge, guys. I mean, we're talking everybody was playing it, at least trying it out. It got incredible reviews from critics as well as fans. And so not only did it do immense amounts, selling millions upon millions of copies, but it also was a great experience. So it just makes sense that they're going to continue this. To me, it would be totally crazy to me if they didn't call it Super Mario Odyssey. I mean, whether it's Super Mario Odyssey 2, they'd have to have the Odyssey in there, though, because that's what made this game so great. And I think a direct continuation of that makes complete sense. What do you think, Alyssa?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'd be the first one in line to buy it. It was a great game. I've always been a Mario fan, all the way back to like Nintendo 64, and you had Mario Kart on Nintendo 64. I've always been a Mario fan. One of the reasons I really like it is we have younger children, and so it was super easy for them to play too, and they really loved it, which I think got us into it too, because they're kind of starting their video game journey, and most of the games out are too hard for them. And so I think the Mario games are like a great introduction for kids to get into video games. Mario Kart, Super Mario Odyssey. But the one thing about Super Mario Odyssey that I loved, it's a long game. It was probably a full year before I even got through the whole thing, and my kids, because they finished the story mode, and then I don't know if a lot of people know this, because a lot of people don't finish the credits of a game. If you go through all the credits, there's an end scene of the game, and you can continue the game. It's like you go to the Mushroom Kingdom at the very end. You have to go through all the credits after you beat Bowser at the end of the game, and then you have more things you can do. Like, you can find all the stars. You can get more outfits for Mario to wear. Then you can go back to, once you're done the main gameplay, you can go back to all the other worlds and find all the other stars that you need to find. And it's just such a long game, and I think it's totally worth the price. It's such a great game, and if they would make a sequel, I'd be the first one to buy it.
Were they star? I thought they were moons.
Moons, but then in the Mushroom Kingdom, they're stars.
Oh, okay.
They're like, yeah. So they are moons. You have to collect all these moons, and in the regular gameplay, you don't collect as many, but you have to collect a certain amount to power up his Odyssey, which is his ship is called the Odyssey, and it was a great game. The graphics I thought were amazing. And we're older and we loved the game. I mean, it was a fabulous game for kids and adults alike. I would love to see a sequel, but I agree that I think Odyssey needs to be in the name of the game, because then we know that it's a continuation or it's part of the Super Mario Odyssey world. But I really hope they bring out another one. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that Odyssey was kind of just like the beginning of what this could really be. Another sub-series in the overarching franchise of Mario. I think that this is something that could be very, very special without a doubt. And so, I beat the game, and then obviously I didn't play as much when we were talking about, the Mushroom Kingdom and all that. But from beginning to the credits, I thought it was spectacular.
But then there's even other side categories, like you go to I think it's like the dark something, and then there's like the darker side, and then there's all these other different levels you can beat, and so it's like almost like a game within a game.
It's like the dark side of the moon?
Yeah, the dark side of the moon. And then there's the darker, once you beat the dark side of the moon, there's the darker side of the moon. I didn't beat that part, it was kind of hard, but and like I said, I really like that. I think our sons were like 5 and 6 at the time, maybe 5 and 4, and it was really easy for them to play. So they got into it, which I really liked, that they were able to play it, because Mario is just such a pastime for all people who've ever played video games. So I'm glad they get to experience Mario, but in a totally different way than we ever did. But man, that game was so fun. I loved it so much.
Yeah,
I actually played it 2 or 3 times all the way through because I liked it so much.
Yeah, it's an incredible thing. It's good for, adults and kids alike, which is awesome about it. So, however, although Nintendo never confirmed the fact, the Bowser's Fury game included with the Switch version of Super Mario 3D World seemed to be by a new team, and after that successful experiment, it could be that they are working on the next full-length 3D Mario game. So, elsewhere in the Q&A, Miyamoto once again confirmed that Nintendo has plans to make movies and other visual content based on IP other than just Mario. Naturally, he didn't say which ones though, and almost certainly won't until it's known how the Super Mario movie is received. So, okay, so let's talk about this. Yeah, so they're going to be making a movie. They're really trying to expand upon a lot of what they're doing.
Like animated, or is it going to be like real people?
I don't know much about it, actually. I'm not sure. They haven't released a ton of information about it, but I'm interested in the movie. A lot of the stuff that they're doing with Mario, I love it. So this leads us to where could and how long until we see, a Super Mario Odyssey 2? Well, to me, guys, I think we're a number of years away still. I think that Nintendo, they're working on other things outside of the realm of just, Super Mario Odyssey 2. I think they're working on a number of other different games. Mario is probably their biggest, figure or character in all of their universes that they've created. We could argue Zelda, we could argue a couple other games out there, but I think that Mario is like the standard for Nintendo.
Zelda doesn't hold a candle to the Mario games. That's...
No, I don't think so either, but a lot of people absolutely loved Breath of the Wild from Zelda. I was not. I was certainly more critical of that than other people, but this is something that I'm really excited about, guys. I think that we're a number of years away, but I'll be sure to give you guys more information as it comes out about Super Mario Odyssey 2. What do you guys think? When do you think we're going to get it? Do you think we're going to get it? Is it going to be called Super Mario Odyssey 2? Or is it going to be just another, Super Mario game that's kind of within that universe but doesn't have the Odyssey name attached to it? Let us know in the comment section down below. And for more Super Mario Odyssey 2 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. We've talked on the YouTube channel about Uncharted and this franchise from past, present, to where we could be seeing it potentially go in the future. And I want to talk, guys, specifically about Uncharted 5, or I guess you could consider it Uncharted 6 if you kind of connect like the Lost Legacy and all of that. But we're going to talk about where could the story potentially go if an Uncharted 5 does release. So where do we stand right now? Before we kind of move into the future of Uncharted, we got to talk about where we are right now. So number one, Naughty Dog, the developers of the Uncharted series, are certainly probably talking about an Uncharted 5, the potential of it, because of course the Uncharted movie is going to be coming out, and what better way to continue a franchise from like a movie perspective? You have a couple of the biggest stars in all of Hollywood, that being Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg, in the up-and-coming Uncharted movie, which I think looks absolutely fantastic just from the trailers, but I'm really excited about that. So what would be a better way to continue this? Maybe Naughty Dog's thinking to themselves, well, let's see how the movie does, and if there's a really good reception around it, we can start greenlighting Uncharted 5. But that being said, Naughty Dog at this point in time is working on what people believe to be The Last of Us Part 2's multiplayer at this point in time, or potentially a Last of Us Part 3, which makes a lot more sense to me than them necessarily working on Uncharted 5, because The Last of Us is certainly their biggest franchise at this point. Now, I believe that Naughty Dog should split their team up so that some of them are working on at least initial concepts of Uncharted 5, and then on the flip side, that have the majority of the team working on The Last of Us Part 2's multiplayer and The Last of Us Part 3. So that leaves us with Uncharted 5 being, okay, the guys who are working on this, and this is all speculation, guys. Let's say that you have a team of people that are working on concept art, pre-production, things of that nature. Where could the series go at this point in time? We know that A Thief's End was the end of, Nathan Drake and his tenure as the main character. But who's to say that maybe the torch could be passed in this next one from Nathan to his daughter,
Cassie.
Or to someone else. So Cassie, his daughter, or whoever it may be, guys. I believe that what needs to happen here, and I kind of, I compare this to other games out there, similar to God of War. We have God of War Ragnarok that's going to be coming out, and I believe that Kratos needs to pass his torch on to his son, who is up and coming now, maybe in that game. Because, guys, there comes a point where some of these characters, they kind of almost last too long as the main character. I'll give you an example. Gears of War is a title that is one of my favorite franchises of all time. We had a multitude of different games as Marcus Phoenix, the main character, and then what did we see when the series came back in the form of Gears of War 4? Marcus passed the torch on to JD, his son, and then you play as JD Phoenix in Gears of War 4, and Marcus is still there as a character, but he's a side character. He's older. You can still play as him in the multiplayer, but JD is the focal point. And then what happened from there, Gears of War 4 to Gears of War 5, of course, JD Phoenix passes the torch on to Kate Diaz, who is, of course, the main character now in Gears 6. And we're assuming she's going to be the main character moving into Gears 7, and so on and so forth. So, that being said, guys, I compare that to where we are here with Uncharted. I believe that there needs to be a passing of the torch from Nathan to his daughter Cassie, and she kind of takes the throne and takes the charge of wherever the story could go. I think there's a million different directions it could go in, kind of like a one last ride for Nathan Drake in Uncharted 5, and as he's passing that torch on to his daughter, she kind of takes the helm and moves the series forward into a direction, whether it's new or she kind of reminisces of the past of what Nathan did. Whatever it is, guys, I think there's a million directions that they could take. Where do you think it's going, Melissa? If they were to bring out Uncharted 5, do you think Nathan would still be the focal point? Do you think his daughter would be a part of it? Do you think they would go maybe 5-10 years after the end of Uncharted 5? Or Uncharted 4?
Well, I think Nathan's done. I mean, the way the fourth game ended, I think his story is over. He doesn't want to do it anymore. He doesn't want to, find treasure and all that stuff. But I think if Cassie, that's her name, right? I think it's Cassie.
I can't quite remember.
Yeah, I think his daughter, if it continues on with her, I think he could make a cameo in the game, like help her or, that kind of thing. But I think Nathan's story is done. Because him and Elena, they kind of decided that they didn't want to do it anymore because it's dangerous. And, at the end of the fourth game, he found that pirate ship he'd been looking for. And, but also, I don't know. I think there's characters that they could keep around. Like in the fourth game, sorry if you haven't played it, this is going to be something that you maybe didn't know. But he realized in the first 3 games, he thought his brother was dead. And then in the fourth game, he found out that he wasn't dead. He came back to him because he needed his help. And so that was like a whole different thing. And then we played with them. We played as them as younger versions of them. And so that was kind of cool. We kind of learned their story. But I think even Sam could come back and be part of the game somehow. And then you have the Uncharted Lost Legacy where it's Chloe and Nadine who are, Nathan Drake wasn't even in it. He was mentioned in the game, but he's not in it. But they could even bring them back into the game to help his daughter or whatever. I think they could go multiple different directions. But it's almost like the legacy continues with his daughter. It's like, I don't know. And maybe if they do it 10 years later, maybe he had other children and they were part of it too. I don't know. It could go multiple different directions, but I do think they need to come out with a new Uncharted game. I've played all 4, well, I guess technically 5 Uncharted games, probably 3 or 4 times through. Because I love the games. I love the story. I haven't played the Lost Legacy as many times as I've played the regular Uncharted games, but it's still fun. Because I always liked Chloe as a character. But the Uncharted games, I've played them multiple times. Each one multiple times. Each one is still as fun as the first time I played it. And I think I really like the puzzle aspect of the games because I'm really good at puzzles and I like having to figure that kind of stuff out. So I don't know where they're going to go with it. But I do hope they continue the story. I think they should. But I think what's going to happen with the movie is I think the movie is going to bring like the Uncharted series kind of back. Because I think right now it's kind of just like people, you know, they played the games years ago and now they're just like, they kind of forgot about it. And now I think the movie's going to kind of revive it. And then they're going to be like, okay, now we're coming out with a new game.
Yeah. You know, and for me, guys, this has been something that I've said on the YouTube channel for a while, that I felt that Uncharted was so good, was perfect from 1 to 4. I just don't want that I just don't want it to be over. Like, I don't want it to be a series that just dies, especially with the latest installment. I know you like The Lost Legacy. I was not a fan whatsoever of really the direction that they went in. I thought that the first 4 were perfect. And I would have liked to see like a continuation of that. I thought The Lost Legacy, it just kind of felt lost. Like it wasn't really necessarily originally meant to be like coming as the 5th game. I just felt that really what they should have done was kind of picked up where they left off at the end of 4 with the daughter, or like a couple of years later or something of that nature.
The Lost Legacy was supposed to be the 5th game. I think it was supposed to be a spin-off.
Yeah, it's a spin-off, but I'm saying I don't like that being the last memory I have of Uncharted. I want them to at least...
It came out before Uncharted 4, though.
Did it?
I think so.
I don't think so. I think it came out after Uncharted 4. Yeah, I think it was the last game that came out so far in the Uncharted series.
Yeah, I definitely think it wasn't the greatest of the games. I only played it because I had played all the other ones and I knew the characters and I just wanted to see what it was like. It was still fun. It was still your action game, and they were treasure hunting kind of like Nathan Drake did. It just wasn't Nathan Drake. And that was kind of sad because the whole story is based on Nathan Drake. But I think he's done. I don't think he needs to be in any of the other games. I think they gave him a good ending, the way the 4th game ended. And then when they introduced his daughter, I even thought to myself, oh my gosh, like they could bring her into it. Like she could be now the new Nathan Drake and just as his daughter. So I think they should definitely look into it. If they don't come out with another Uncharted game, I'm going to be really disappointed because like he said, I don't think they ended it well with The Lost Legacy. Like if they were going to end the series, they should have just ended it on Uncharted 4.
Right.
And then just been done with it. I think The Lost Legacy, I think they made it and it didn't get as much hype as they thought it was going to get. Like as much attention as like all the other Uncharted games did.
Yeah, I just thought, like I said, that it being the latest game in the franchise, I just don't like it being the last one, where we don't know if like they're ever going to come back to Uncharted. Maybe Naughty Dog's thinking, you know what, we're done with Uncharted, we're moving on to The Last of Us, and then maybe even a new IP after that altogether. You know, there does come a point where, you know, you almost overstay your welcome in a franchise, where then it becomes just, you know, you want to keep the creative juices flowing, and The Last of Us is really what Naughty Dog's like latched onto in a huge way. Not that Uncharted overstayed its welcome. I just don't like that The Lost Legacy was the last imprint or thought that we have of Uncharted. I feel like it needs to have a continuation of some sorts and like a true ending to the entire Nathan Drake, whether it's Nathan Drake, his daughter, or whoever, just a total end to the Uncharted series as we know it.
I also think the movie, what it might do, if they don't have the works for a new Uncharted game, I think the movie may actually revive the series, because people who haven't played the series are going to say, oh, well, what's the backstory of Nathan Drake? Where did we get him? Where did he come from? And then they may want to play the games. So it's actually may revive the whole series in general, because they're going to be like, well, where did this come from? Where is, you know, and it came from a video game. And so maybe it's going to make more people actually play the Uncharted series. And then Naughty Dog's going to be like, oh, this is back. Like, we need to continue it.
Right. But the real question is, guys, is what do you all think about this? Uncharted 5, the continuation of Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. Do you think it's ever going to come out? What do you think, or where do you think the story could go? Let us know in the comment section down below. And for more Uncharted 5 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. And with that being said, everyone, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the 8 Below Show. Once again, guys, Alyssa's Poshmark is going to be in the description down below. You guys can go there to find the exclusive content of Zero TV, but you can also see all the other things that she's putting on there, which she's adding items consistently. So an entire storefront worth of stuff that you can definitely check out. But like I said, the link will be in the description down below. Thanks again, everyone, for checking out this episode of The 8 Below Show. And if you guys did enjoy it, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.